What's up, everyone? Gamer Live Studio here, back at it with Off the Top. It's been quite a while. It's been a very long time. It's been a while. Whew. Telling you, bro, we got a lot of things to talk about, man. A lot of stuff to talk about, bro. Starfield, we got Xbox, PlayStation, Ubisoft. The future of gaming is here. It's here and now. Like, it really is. Like, truly. 100%. Like, so far what I have been seeing and hearing, um like it is changing right before our eyes, you guys. So it's been a while. It's been a minute. Again, I've been busy, been doing a lot of like let's play videos. I've been playing a lot of Starfield lately. I am waiting patiently for Stalker 2 when that comes out, which it comes out in November. When that drops, I'm going to be so excited to play that game. I'm going to be doing a bunch of live stream videos on that one and lots of let's plays on that one. That's going to be a lot of fun. So I know it's been a while, but again, I figured you know what? I haven't done Off the Top in quite a while, and I think it's time to really start talking about it, seeing what's been going on from the past couple of weeks with the whole PlayStation, the Pro, $700, Xbox in terms of surveys, what they're doing, the layoffs that they have done. There's a lot of things I could talk about and really dive myself into it. So this is going to be a very interesting video. I'm going to try to make it cohesive as possible and not try to drag it out too long. I'm going to try to see if I could put it under at least under 2 hours. At most, I hope so we can do that. I'm not making any promises, but hopefully we can do that. But yeah, we are here. We are live. There's a bunch of things to talk about. I made sure I prepare with some water. Because real, it's going to be a lot of talking. I'm going to be thirsty. It's going to be a whole bunch of things that I just want to say off the top of my head. Like, again, no filter, unedited, no script, no nothing. Just straight up, just going right at it and just seeing what's going on. It's a lot. It's a lot. Whew. Let me see. Let me just make sure we got the camera good. Before I get started with this, we're gonna pop it out. I don't think pop will be good. Documentary. Oh my god. Sorry, I'm just messing around with it, but I'm gonna put the pop. That should be fine. Live chat. No. Oh man, what the hell? Why can't no, I don't want it to stop. Why is it doing this? Sorry about that, you guys. I don't know why. See, I click and pop, and then it just doesn't want to put this down. I don't know if it's broken. Did live chat. That's fine. That's fine. Shoot. Why is it doing this? I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand. It doesn't want to go down. Hold on. I'm sorry about this, you guys. It's just this thing is right in front of my screen. I don't understand how to put this down. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? No, I don't want to stop streaming. Oh, that's why. There we go. Look at that. The check mark has a white thing and it blends in the background in the white. So it's just oh, I didn't see that. I got to click the check mark. Okay, good. All right, got the microphone ready to go. Got my filters ready to go. Okay, now we should be good. Yes, that's what we want. Check. Good. Got a horizontal. Good. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to delay anybody about that. It's just weird how, again, like the white, marks and stuff like that on my phone, it kind of blends in the background. So I couldn't really see the check mark. And then I looked closely. I was like, oh, there's a check mark right there. I didn't know. Whew. Boy, oh boy, there's a lot to talk about. There is a lot, bro. Starfield, fucking Ubisoft debacle. It's so much. So much. Okay. Let's get into the video itself and talk about it and discuss. I think the first thing we should talk about is the fact that the title of this, off the top, the live stream, which is the future of gaming is here and now. And what I mean by that is seeing what's been going on with the whole with the gaming and stuff like that, when we start to see that physical media is starting to go away, right? It really is. It's starting to go away. It's not coming back. You can, like, again, going into Best Buy, right? I remember a long time ago, way back, right? You used to walk into Best Buy during the 360 era, PlayStation 3. When you go into Best Buy or whatever electronics store that you used to go to, like, there used to be just a wall of games, just from one straight aisle down. Like, you can see every 360 game, this game, that game on one side of the aisle. Then they have the PlayStation aisle with every PlayStation game that they have on the shelf. Like, it was long aisles. It was like at least like 2 to 3 length of just racks of just games after games after games. And then you get towards the end, they have the peripherals and everything else, the controller, the console system and stuff like that, right? They had all this stuff, right? They had all that stuff. Fast forward to now, from the tail end of that 360 generation, PlayStation 3 generation, when that started to come to the end, then the aisle started to become smaller, right? They took away one aisle, it became smaller. It still was some games you could pick out, play, whatever, but it was smaller. Now we're in this generation in terms of the PlayStation 5 and the Series S and X generation of consoles. Now we starting to see aisles become like this, where it's just not even a length anymore. It's literally a couple of steps. Just go in, and that's it. You're already at the end, or you already there, and they only got one little aisle, and on the right, and they got another aisle on the left with maybe a few little box titles, and that's about it. Nothing but peripherals and controllers and headsets and stuff like that. No boxes of games and stuff like that. So we starting to see the physical media is starting to go away, right? Best Buy has announced or been announced that they are getting rid of the movies and stuff like that, TV show, movie, DVDs, Blu-rays and stuff like that. They're starting to get it up out of there. Already seen it. It was pretty much gone. So yeah, it's the future is here. The times are changing. We're seeing it right before our eyes. Like, it's right in front of us. It's there. Like, it is what it is. It's reality, right? And I know a lot of people will, when I see a lot of videos, they waving the banter flag and stuff like that. Like, we want physical media, we want it here, blah, 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 blah. But let's all be honest here, and let's keep it a buck here. We already lost that in terms of, remember when, like, even like physical like music. They used to have loads and loads of like albums of CD covers, right? I remember once upon a time it used to be record players, then it went into cassette players, and then they moved on to CD players, and then now we're in digital music, right? We seen, I grew up in that generation where we seen it gradually started to change, right? Now look at it, fast forward now, mostly everyone has digital music, right? They hear music here and there and stuff like that. A lot of people said that's a good thing or is a bad thing, right? The digital music industry and the media has changed, right? So there's some people that still wants or still collects, digital music from artists and other artists, right? Like rappers like Lil Wayne, right? 50 Cent, right? Like people still collect those things, right? Still have them. But everybody is now mostly into the digital age of media, right? It happens. It is what it is. But it's not a bad thing. It is. What can you really do? I mean, we're still getting more music. We're still getting a lot more artists, and I think a lot of people now are even exploring even more underground music artists than ever before. It's not the same anymore. It's just like gaming. Like gaming is starting to head towards that direction where it's like before it used to be just get a PlayStation, here's all the games you get an Xbox, here's all the games you get from this digital storefront or in the stores. Now, since that is kind of like being taken away, and then a lot of people are looking, and then we're starting to see those console prices are going up. They're not going down, they're going up. So all of this stuff is going up. A lot of people are like now are really with their money, which is tight for everyone. Everybody's tight with their money. They don't want to overspend for something. They don't want to be nickel and dime and being thrown with like ads and all this crazy shit that's going on. So a lot of people are looking for alternative, and they're sitting there saying, look, if I'm going to spend a $500 $700 console at whatever at this point, then I might as well just spend that $700 $800 on a PC and then just have it for the next 10 years. I know a lot of people don't want to go into PC. I don't think consoles are going away completely, but they're getting rid of the digital, well, the physical side of like like consoles and stuff like that. The physical side of consoles are starting to phase out in favor of digital gaming. Is happening. I wouldn't be too surprised if Nintendo is heading down that road. I wouldn't be surprised PlayStation is heading down there anyway, and Xbox is leading the charge. It is what it is. There's nothing really to be sad about because now more than ever, seeing that go away, now these artists, like, these rap artists, let's just put an example in the music industry, right? When that it's still there, don't get me wrong, like the physical, like you want to get a CD or a vinyl record of an artist or music that you like, you can still do that, you can still get that. But now you start to see this generation that's coming in, right, that are coming in, like the new generation, they're not really in tune of like all the artists from the past. They're not really tuned into like Lil Wayne, Eminem, and all of these artists. They are all with the new artists now, right? They're listening to the newer rappers in their generation, right? And now you start to see that even so that they kind of stripped it away. That whatchamacallit, they strip it away. You start to see now that a lot of these new generations are now listening to more than just the mainstream artists now. Like they're not listening to like all the mainstream artists now. Now all of the underground music people that have been making music for years, right? They want to get a name for themselves. Now it's easier than ever before to just put music on SoundCloud, put music on YouTube, different artists that are not well known or not in the mainstream, they're getting attention now over the mainstream artists. Because you know why? Because now they basically took, again, these content creators, the people that are making music, they're now are having a foot or some type of competition against the mainstream media in terms of music. It's going to be the same way for gaming. Like they took away the physical media. They're going to start taking that away, which is true. But even so, that look at all the games that we have on PC that you can easily play, and it's not even well known yet. And some of these games are like really good. It's like, why can this game be on PlayStation in the PlayStation Store right now? Why is this game is not on the Xbox storefront? You know what I'm saying? Just because Xbox and PlayStation have exclusive, just because they have exclusive, that doesn't mean they have every game that's on the PC right now. Some of these people that are developing PC games are only exclusive to the PC games. And some of these games are very niche games or games that does represent times back on the PlayStation 1 era, PlayStation 2 era, like fun games that you could actually just like, oh, wow, this is a really fun game. I want to play this, and you're playing it. You starting to see that where we went from that oversaturated of like first party games and exclusives and all this stuff to now that where we starting to see a change that where, you know what, like, yo, PC gaming got some games that not even the Xbox or PlayStation in their storefront don't even have. Why is this game is not on there? This game is amazing. This is the games. These are the type of games that I'm looking for out of Xbox and PlayStation, and they don't have it. For example, there was a game that was released not that long ago. It's called Hollow Bodies, and that game was like a recreation or a spiritual successor, and it has the same type of like the camera, the fixed camera like in Resident Evil back on the PlayStation 1 and 2, and they made a whole spiritual successor to that. Like it has that Silent Hill, Resident Evil. It was well done. It's a great game. It's not that long to beat. It's very, very good. Great story. It probably didn't took that long to develop. It's not even that much money they have to put into. It's just a very fun, simple game, a horror game. Really easy to play. Very unique, different. Everything looked at like well polished. It didn't cost that money to make. And again, that's on the PC. It's not even on any of these platforms. It's not even on. I don't even think it's even available on the PlayStation or Xbox. I could be wrong about that, but I don't know that it's. I don't think it's on there. So it's like, I think some of these indie artists, these indie games is going to start to rise up. And they're going to start getting into that competition with the mainstream exclusive games. I mean, look at Black Myth Wukong, right? Black Myth Wukong sold over 20 million copies. But that's not a PlayStation first party title. And that's not an Xbox first party exclusive title. That game is a third party developer made a very simple game. Is a Black Myth Wukong is like Journey of the West. Is a simple monkey that has a stick and a staff. Got some Dark Souls type of vibes. Got a story. It looks great. It's fantastic. It looks like they put in a lot of effort into that game. Is it perfect? No. It does have problems and issues, right? We can all agree on that. But they put in the effort into making that game, and it was very, really successful. Sold over 20 million copies. They put it on PlayStation. They put it on the PC. Pretty soon they will be putting it on the Xbox. I don't know when, but it should be in the works. They're going to get it fixed, whatever. I don't know all the details about, who did what. If Sony made back-end deals, this happens. I don't know. I'm going to just leave that out. But the whole point is that this game sell over 20 million copies and a whole bunch of players, even just on the PC by itself, PC players are playing it. So what does that tell you? Right? Oh, I gotta stretch for a minute. Oh, God. Gotta stretch. But what does that tell you? That tells you that the game was successful, they did really good, and they made money. And I think this is where we're going to start seeing, like, again, we're going to start seeing that a lot of people are going to really hold on to their money. Because they know for a fact that once they go into digital and they bought this game, they can't get a refund right away. So a lot of people like myself and many others and everybody that's coming into this generation, they're going to realize that, hey, I can't waste money on a game that if I do not like or I do not care about, or is it just a waste, then, I'm it's just a waste. This is like, what's the point of buying it? So they're really going to make sure that whatever game that they are going to buy from here into the future, that is a game that they're going to, one, they're going to like, two, is it fun to play, three, is it enjoyable? And if it meets those criteria, they're going to buy the game. If it doesn't meet their criteria, guess what they're going to do? They're not going to buy it. They're going to go move somewhere else and buy a different type of game. You know, I'm telling you, these indie developers and these people that has these really small teams in these games and stuff, they're going to start to rise up. They're going to start to rise up and start meeting the demands that these players like you and me and everyone else want these games to be on a certain level. They're gonna meet those criterias. And then these big corporations, these companies that has these studios and stuff like that, they're gonna have to raise the bar too. Because if they don't raise the bar in what they do, guess what? It's gonna be as simple as this. They're not gonna buy the game. If it's not at the store shelves to go out and buy it and then we can go back and trade it or whatever, then most people like you and me and everyone else is going to be like, ugh, this game is awful. I don't like this game. They're not going to buy it. And that is that. You know what I'm saying? And who's going to lose money at the end? It's going to be one of these corporations that has these studios, whether it's Microsoft, whether it's PlayStation, they're going to lose money because a third party developer or an indie dev that are making these really high quality AAA games or AA games that meets the expectation of fans and gamers alike, like you and me, that we're paying money for, and they meet those demands, we're going to pay for that money. They're going to get paid. Not these two, right? It's just like if Nintendo doesn't deliver on the games that they're supposed to do, then guess what? They're not going to get any money. So what Nintendo's going to do? They're going to respect their IPs. They're going to respect the players and the fan base. And they're going to have to deliver on expectations. Or else, guess what? They're not going to get no money at all. It's just as simple as that. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who did what, even a third party. It's the same way. EA is in that same boat. Ubisoft is in that same boat. Ubisoft is feeling it now. That's why I sit there and tell, like, that's the title of it. Like, the future is here and now. In terms of digital media and gaming. The physical media is being pushed out as we speak. And I don't think it's coming back. Well, I wouldn't say it's gone completely. I'm pretty sure they might do limited runs on, like, here's a physical copy of this game. Here's a physical copy of this. Remember a while ago, they used to, like way back when you brought like a 360 or a PlayStation 2 or even a PlayStation 1 title game, whatever, you got the cover and the art, and then you go in there, they had the fucking manual books. They have the fucking manual, like of the book manual, of the cover and everything else. It looked nice. They had it on the 360. It was beautiful. I think they had it on the PlayStation 3 as well during that time. Look what happened to that. You see how those booklets that used to be in the cases in the game, those booklets are gone. They phased that shit straight out. All of it is just a piece of paper or a code. That's it. No booklet, no nothing. There's nothing. Those are phased out. right? The people did something to say something about it, sure. But look at it now. We're not saying anything about a booklet in one of these like 360 cover games, or the Xbox One cover games and the PlayStation 4 cover games. Those are phased out. Those are done. It's just like that. It's going to be just like physical media. It's going to phase out. Here's digital. And just like this, at the end of the day, we gamers has the power. I don't know why everybody's fearing. Stop. You don't have to fear over this. Because guess what? At the end of the day, the power is up to you. We got the power to say, we're going to buy this game or we're not going to buy this game. If this doesn't deliver my expectations of it, and I'm saying more realistic expectations, not something over the moon, jump through the clouds into the sky expectations. I'm talking about realistic, grounded expectations, right? If it doesn't meet to my expectation of this game that they're putting out, whether it's PlayStation or Xbox, then guess what? I'm not going to buy it. It's just that simple. Because I have the power to say no, and guess what? I can go buy or play something else that is similar, which is the indie devs can make a game that is similar to what? Any of PlayStation titles and any of Xbox game titles. They can make a game that's similar now. They have the power to do so. Unreal Engine 5, I'm pretty sure it's fucking free. You can pretty much get the free version and maybe buy a few packs and you can make a game, by yourself. One person can make a game all by itself on Unreal Engine 5. They can do it. If they have the power and the knowledge and the mindset to do it, you could do it. Just like Bethesda with the mods. Anybody can download the Bethesda mod kits for Starfield. So any one of us, even including myself, can make mods and do stuff if we want to, so we choose. We can do that now. We have the power to do that. Gamers, we have the power to speak with our wallets. That's just what we have. So it's not going to help any of these corporations. Other than that, they're just creating more competition now more than ever. Now in this generation now, moving forward, they really have to step up their game. Or else they're going to go under or going to be in a situation just like Ubisoft. I promise you, they will have to. Xbox, PlayStation, I'm telling you, people are going to sit there and say, look, man, enough is enough. They had it with it. So there's nothing to really fear about. I'm not fearing over it. I'm not really worried about it. Because at the end of the day, guess what? I have the power to say yes or no. Simple as that. My money in my bank account is just fine. It's not going anywhere. They want my money, then they're going to have to deliver on the games that I want to play. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. That's what I'm saying. The future is here and is now. It's time to put the past behind us and it's time to move forward. Gotta keep moving forward. Right? Nothing ever stays the same for 10 years. And speaking of which, let's move on to Ubisoft. Right? Because I mentioned Ubisoft is in trouble. Right? Ubisoft is in deep shit. Believe it or not, they are. But let's call this space a space here. Ubisoft is in such deep shit that they are right now, they're in panic mode. But they did it to themselves. Right? They put themselves in this situation. Now, going back to what I said, we have the power to, like, again, the future is here and now. We have the power as a gamer. We can choose whether to buy this game or not. And guess what? It's working. Because guess what? Ubisoft tried to put out a game that is the Star Wars Outlaws. How did that turn out? Didn't turn out too well, right? Nobody didn't really bought the game. It was broken. You can see the videos to yourself. I can see it clearly. At this point in this gaming generation, at this point, if you've been playing games as long as I have, like me, you don't really need to go out there and buy the game to play it for yourself at this point. At this point, you can literally just see the video on YouTube, just watching somebody playing the game, and you can see how broken it is with that Star Wars Outlaws. It was completely fucking broken. It was garbage. This game did not sell me to go out there to buy this game at $70. So as many other people. So many other people, like including myself and you, we all decided to say, sorry, no, I'm not giving you my $70 fucking Ubisoft. You got to do better. In the past, a long time ago, I used to play a lot of Ubisoft games, right? I'm not sitting here as like a hate bandwagon of Ubisoft. You know, a long time ago, I used to love Ubisoft. I used to love Far Cry, right? Far Cry 2, Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4, right? Assassin's Creed, the Ezio trilogy. I played all the old ones way back then. Assassin's Creed. I didn't play the first Assassin's Creed, but I did play Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Revelations, right? I played Black Flag, Unity. So I have played Assassin's Creed games, and I've played Far Cry games, you know, and then other games as well. Like, you know, some games that I really like, some games I didn't really like, you know. But there were some games that I did play and I enjoy, and I respect that. But look at what Ubisoft is doing now, right? They put themselves in this situation. I didn't put them in this situation at all. I'm not the one who put them. I'm not. No, I see what they offer. I look at the trailer. I look at the gameplay footage of the game, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, this ain't it, Chief. This ain't it, Chief. I can't play this game. No, it looked awful. Awful. Telling you, it was awful. Very bad. So, given the fact that they putting out this half-ass slop, right? That didn't do so well. Then another thing we was hearing about, that the Skull and Bones situation. Now the Skull and Bones situation is interesting. Now I'm gonna touch on a little bit of Sony for a minute. We'll get to Sony stuff in a minute, but I want to touch on this because when we heard about that Concord situation where they lost well over $400 million, Skull and Bones is more than that. They have lost somewhere near $600 million, $850 million. Skull and Bones. That wasn't developed like what? Well over 10 fucking years? And they lost that much? Oh my God. You know what's funny? You know what's funny about that whole situation right there? You know what's real funny about that shit? The fact that I was saying this a while ago. This was like a while ago. Like when Skull and Bones was like rumored, and then there was concrete that they was in development of that game, right? I sat there and said to myself, this was the time I think Black Flag was like towards the tail end of development in their last couple of updates, and that was it, and they was going to move on to another Assassin's Creed game. I said to myself, if you're going to do Skull and Bones, right, this pirate game that's online, all they gotta fucking do was just take the Assassin's Creed Black Flag, strip out the name of that, take what you built in Assassin's Creed, the foundations, the pillars, and everything else, build on top of it, change a few things, add a few other things as well to the world and stuff like that, add more to the map, more things to explore and everything else. You want to change it a little bit here, you want to add a bit of islands here and there. Cool. You know what I'm saying? Keep the pirate theme the way it is. It was just fine. The boat, the combat, you want to improve it, make slight little tweaks? Fine. Do that. And then all they got to do is just change the name to Skull and Bones and you're fucking done. That will take less than 3 to 4 years to do. It should not even take no more than 10 years to make that game. 3 to 4 years top, Skull and Bones would have been released around the time period between the tail end of Assassin's Creed Black Flag going into their next Assassin's Creed game. That Skull and Bones should have been released right in that time frame. It doesn't take that long to do. Very easy. And guess what? I'm not the only one who said that shit. There was plenty of other fucking people that was saying that shit. I'm not the only one. They're all like, wait a minute, why can't it just take Assassin's Creed Black Flag, strip this out, strip the name out, improve all the shit that's in the game, build off top of it, make it more open, and then slap in online, compatibility, and have pirates, have us like running around, whatever, with different outfits, building boats and stuff like that. Why they couldn't just do it like that? That shouldn't take that long. And it shouldn't not even be that long to even put in that money. It should be like maybe like 100 million. Like even less than 100 million. I don't think it's going to be that long to make a game or do something like that. It wouldn't even take that long. Right? It shouldn't. It shouldn't have. And it should not be that much money. But here we are, where we just hear about that they lost well over $600 to $800 million in Skull and Bones. It's a quadruple A title. Looking at the game and playing it, it is damn sure nowhere near close to even Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is, like, again, I get Cyberpunk when it released, it was broken for 2 years or so. I get that. If that's some criticism, I totally understand, and that's fair. But when that game is completely done and they fix everything, whatever, the current Cyberpunk 2077 right now, that's more of a quadruple A title. That's a quadruple A title. That's a game that's like is up to here and above and beyond. That game is fucking amazing and is fantastic. Skull and Bones is nowhere near that fucking level. So where the fuck are they getting that shit from? I don't understand. Because that is nowhere near that. Nowhere near that. That it is such a downgrade and it was god awful. Nobody wanted to buy it. And I guarantee you nobody didn't want to play it. Only Zoomer or wannabe gamers went out there and brought that garbage. Real gamers like myself and probably many others out there that could see the writing on the wall, that could see the game for itself in the gameplay, knew right off the bat that this game is fucking terrible. Why the fuck they did not just took the foundations of Black Flag, strip everything out, improve everything upon it, and they could have released that game from like that time period between the tail end of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. They could have released it like 3 years after and say, here's Skull and Bones. Here's a great... They would have sold millions and millions of fucking copies. It would have been a lot less money and a lot less budget put into that. It's like, what the fuck is going on? I don't know what the fuck is going on. But that's not even the worst of it. And then when we hear about the whole Assassin's Creed Shadow and the debacle that it has right now, whether or not, let me make this crystal clear. I am not sitting here complaining, saying, oh, I don't like a black samurai in the game and all this bullshit. I don't mind having a black samurai in the game. But knowing me as a real gamer that I've been playing Assassin's Creed from the time when Ezio collection, Ezio is a representation of where he's from. Ezio is European. He's a European character during that time frame, during that time period. He fits in there. I didn't play as a black character in Assassin's Creed 2. What makes Assassin's Creed 2 and all the rest of the Ezio collection so special is because it represent him and his culture where he came from. That's why I gave fucking that game respect. Why I gave Unity so much respect, because you put in an actual French character in the game in Paris. That's why I respect Unity. Why I respect Black Flag, because you actually put in an actual character that represent in that time frame whatever the race that he is. I'm probably gonna, I can't even think right now, but you get the point what I'm saying. They represent that. It's like, what the fuck? How hard it is to do a Japanese character in a Japanese environment. It's, I'm like, Ubisoft, you're killing me. And then I'm hearing that they did it because of George Floyd. What the fuck does George Floyd have to do with anything? Oh, we did it for George Floyd. George Floyd is fucking dead. He ain't coming back. His memories lives on and everything, and I respect that. But like, bro, it's like this putting a black character in Assassin's Creed in Japan does not pay respects to fucking George Floyd. You want to put respect into the actual black fucking community? Make a game that's tailored towards black folks. Stop hopping on the bandwagon of let's just slap black people on this fucking title of this screen. You know, oh, it's Assassin's Creed, let's just put a black character in this fucking universe. That's not putting fucking black people with respect. If you want to respect black people and black culture, put a black person in a game in its own title and its own fucking thing. How about that? Like, for example, put fucking Afro Samurai. If Ubisoft decided to say we're gonna make an Afro Samurai game, perfectly fine. You're respecting black culture because Afro Samurai is a black character that we know in the anime. It sets in Japan in a different universe in a different time period. That's perfectly fine. Stop with this fucking garbage of like, hey, let's just take this black person and let's just slap him into this game. Even though it sets in a Japan time period, fuck it, we'll just put him in the game anyway. That is so disrespectful. And let me tell you something right now. I may not be the smartest person in the world, but I'm damn sure they ain't fucking stupid. And I guarantee you and I promise you, there is no such thing as a black samurai. I promise you. Just like this in history. If you went to history class or if you actually paid attention in history, hell, you can even go watch the History Channel and they will fucking tell you. And I promise you, throughout the whole history, there was no such thing as a black knight in medieval times. There was no such thing as that. There was no such thing as a black Christopher Columbus. There was no such thing as that. Right? All I do know was there was black slavery. That was a real fucking thing. Right? We know that there's some, things throughout history that black people has changed and made a difference. Martin Luther King, right? Whatever, or even helped the black culture, the black community, like Abraham Lincoln, right? If it wasn't for him to step in and did something to make changes, we will still be in this world, in this time frame that black people will still be in slavery. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. But in somewhere out there in the universe, we could still possibly all still be in black slavery without Abraham Lincoln help. You know what I'm saying? Like again, it's just like, it's so annoying. It just really is annoying. It's just frustrating. It's like, what kind of fucking bullshit are we talking about here? What are we dealing with? Just Ubisoft, just make a fucking game that's, if you're going to make Assassin's Creed, shadows, right? Even though it may not be super historically accurate, at least put some respect in the Japanese culture. If you're gonna make an Assassin's Creed in Africa, are you gonna disrespect us by putting a samurai warrior Japan in Africa? Does that make fucking sense to you? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. If you're gonna make an Assassin's Creed game, just put the actual actual Japanese man in a samurai suit. Like, come on, this is not hard. Just fucking do it. But we did it for George Floyd. George Floyd is fucking dead. He has he does. It does. It's not going to help George Floyd to come back. I hate to break it to you. I hate to tell you the truth, but it ain't gonna help him to come back. And that's not putting respect in George Floyd's name. You want to help black people in this country? You want to help the black community and all this get the fuck out there in the real world. Turn off the camera. Get the fuck off of social media. Turn that shit off. Go out there and help. Get in the car. Go down there and help the community out. How about that? Stop pandering in these fucking video games to say, yeah, we're helping the black community and we're paying respect and diversity and shit. Get the fuck out of here. If you're gonna be all this diversity and all this bullshit, then you gotta respect every single fucking culture out here. That's including religion, right? My religion is Christianity, right? Now, what level of Christianity am I? Am I the type that's like super fucking religion nut and be like, oh, he's fucking Hebrew. I don't like fucking Hebrew. All this other fucking garbage. You think I do that shit? No. You think I'm on social media fucking, all this garbage? No. It's fucking retarded. If you're gonna be respecting people, culture, and ethnicity, you gotta have an open mind to respect that. If somebody believe in Buddhism and I'm Christianity, I'm not gonna treat him or disrespect him in his religion and what he believes. I'm not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna respect his culture, respect his mindset, and let him do what he needs to do. That's called respecting. That's called whatever. Even if I went to Japan, I want to learn about their culture in Japan and respect the culture in Japan. And making sure I respect everyone there. I don't want to disrespect anybody there. No, I don't. Just like if I went to London, I want to respect the culture in London and learn their culture and the way of life and everything else. I don't want to disrespect anybody there. No matter what they believe. Whether they believe in Christianity, they believe in Buddhism, they believe in Hebrew, they are Jews. I don't want to disrespect anyone. I want to respect everyone in all walks of life. That's being, respectful in culture and ethnicity. That's respect. Is to learn other people's culture and respecting their culture. Not take something, twist it, and make it into something and try to do da-da-da-da-da. That's disrespecting people culture. That's disrespecting me. So I'm sorry, I have to go on that little tangent rant. But back to Ubisoft. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. But other than that, they're pretty much in a fucking hole right now. And if they're going to continue along that road, they're going to go bye-bye. And right now, since they have delayed the Assassin's Creed Shadows and all this stuff, I heard they're going to make changes and stuff like that. They have mass layoff. This is no surprise. They put themselves in this situation. Because you know why? Because gamers like me and you, that we living in the future right now, and we have our money and our credit card, whatever, right? We got our fucking wallets like this, right? We got our wallets. We got our little card right here and all this bullshit. We're not giving it to them. That's a no. We're not handing this shit out to them and say, here you go, whatever. No, no. You're gonna have to earn. These motherfuckers out here gonna have to earn. They have to earn their spots. I'm telling you, people are fed up with this kind of garbage, and that's why they're in that situation. Because people got tired of their fucking garbage. They got tired of they're not listening to the fan base. They're not doing whatever. They don't want to listen to us. They don't want to whatever. Guess what? We don't have to pay the game. We don't have to buy your shit. We can go play something else and spend our hard-earned money and our time somewhere else. Ubisoft is not the end of the world. EA is not the end of the world. Xbox isn't the end of the world. And PlayStation ain't the end of the world either. Because guess what? There's plenty of other games and other places that I could be spending my time at. That's the future now. That's why we got the power. That's why people are fed up and they're putting their foot down. And they're simply saying, if you don't deliver on the things that I want to see in a more realistic expectations, then be expecting that I'm not going to pay for your shit. I love it. This is great. Because it's going to teach these corporations all the way up there that got their head up their ass so far up there, they smelling their own farts, that now they're like, oh wait, oh shit, we're really are losing money. Oh, the fan base are not happy at all, and they're not refusing to buy our game. What we going to do? Quick, let's keep throwing money, and throwing money at something is not going to fix the problem. I'm pretty sure Jeff Bezos, I think he's going to start learning his lesson right now with the whole Rings of Power that's going on. Just for an example, the Rings of Power is not doing good in the first season. What, you think season 2 is doing a lot better now? No, it is not, and he's still losing money. What does that tell you? You know what that tells you? That throwing money doesn't solve the fucking problem. You know what? You know what's going to solve the problem? Is that, oh, we should be listening to our fan base and actually hiring actual writers and creators to do the things that needs to be done in these franchises. If we don't respect the franchise and respect the story and the world building to it, and we disrespect it and we made some garbage, the fan base are not going to watch our shit and they're not paying money towards us. Bingo. Same thing for video games. They're not going to do it. They're not going to get it. Ubisoft put themselves in this situation. And I love it. So let them die off a cliff. I can care less. I can care less. I know a lot of people on YouTube, they sitting there saying, I care about Ubisoft. I don't want them to fail. Look, sometimes corporations going to have to fail to learn their lesson. And if they're going to have to learn the hard way, they're going to learn the hard way. There's no difference between me and you. We learn lessons the hard way throughout our whole life. Sometimes we learn lessons faster than others. Sometimes we learn like, oh, hey, if I do this, then, you know, maybe I should not do that and I should do something different. And there's other people out there, they're going to have to learn the hard way to learn a lesson. So let them learn the hard way so they can learn a lesson. And then all you have to do is do like this. I told you so. I know I'm hearing about your little cry, problem, boo-hoo, my tears. You got to suck it up and move on and make changes. That's what you got to tell them. Don't hold their hands. No. No holding hands. You're going to have to figure it out. That's the best lesson. And then when they finally click in their brain, then they're going to be like, yeah, you know what? I've been in this situation before. You know, I'm going to do things different. I'm not going to be in this situation and put myself in a headache or have any more problems. I'm not going to do it. No. So there's that Ubisoft situation, which is crazy. And then let's get into the PlayStation stuff. So PlayStation is no better either. Now, we've seen what PlayStation is doing, right? And I know a lot of these PlayStation fanboys are getting really, well, they're getting more and more ridiculous every day. They keep trying to move the goalposts, but they can't move the goalposts anymore. They really can't. Like I don't know. And PlayStation right now, the way how I'm seeing it, it ain't doing any better. I know a lot of those places is talking about sales, right? They're talking about, look, man, PlayStation, they sold, 66 million console sales. They're making money and all this bullshit. That's all fine and dandy. They selling more consoles than Xbox, right? Even though, let me give you like this. I'm an Xbox fan, but even I can admit that, yeah, PlayStation, yes, they outselling fucking Xbox 2-1, 3-1, whatever, realistically. On a realistic expectations, yes, they're outselling them. I totally get that. But here's the deal, though. Just because you sold 66 million copies, oh, no, sorry, not 66 million copies, 66 million consoles, that doesn't equal out to 66 million, copies of games that they're selling. Doesn't equal out to that. It's one thing you can sell hardware. It's another thing that you also have to meet this expectation. It's just like this. You could sell this many cars, right, out the parking lot. Like let's just say they had like 5 different brands cars. Let's say one typical brand car is outselling every other car in the parking lot. That's a problem. Yeah, they're making sales off of this one type of car. But guess what? It's a problem that every other car, like whatever is a SUV, a truck, or whatever, they're not being sold. They're just sitting there in the parking lot collecting dust. That's not good. That's not good. That's like, damn. Like, only this type of car is being sold, nothing else? Then that's a problem. Because other cars needs to sell too. Out of that parking lot. They're gonna have to do something. It's just like, again, they can sell 66 million consoles. But it's like, what's with the whole Final Fantasy stuff, right? Like, right? PlayStation try to make an exclusivity deal with Square Enix, right? Square Enix try to sell Final Fantasy 16. They did Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, and then Final Fantasy 7 Remake, and then they put out Rebirth, and then they put out 16. Throughout all those sales, that was only exclusively on the PlayStation 5 console, nowhere else, just on the PlayStation 5 alone, still didn't equal out enough for them to make a sale or make a profit. Yeah, no shit. We're not living in once upon a time back in PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 era. We're not living that time frame anymore. This is 2024. We're going into 2025. People has changed in terms of the taste of their games. And people are not vibing with the current Final Fantasy games right now. So they just thinking like, okay, like, look, PlayStation probably said to them, like, look, man, we got 66 million consoles. We're outselling Xbox 3-1. You should be able to make this sale, Square. Just put your games exclusively on our platform, and it's going to sell well. I promise you. We sold God of War 10 million or 20 plus million. We sold this, whatever. It's okay. Come over here. We got you. Don't worry about it. What happened? 3 million copies does not equal out to a success. Like, it's not. That's terrible. That is bad. That is so bad that now you see Square right now, they're like, yeah, when the new president came in, they're like, yeah, you know what? No more exclusivity deal. We're going third party. We're going to put our games across multiple platforms. And guess what? They're focusing on quality, not quantity. Quality. That's what they're doing now. They've seen the fail after fail, the flop after flop with all the games that they try, right? What was that game that was so cringe? Forspoken. right? It looked it like a promising game. It looked it promising. What happened to that? It failed. You don't see me on my YouTube channel just making a bunch of like hate videos on these games. If I like a game, I'll talk about the game. If I like a game, I will play the game. If I don't like something or I don't care about it, I might say, I didn't like this because of this or whatever, and I don't talk about it. And that's what happens with that Forspoken. It looked it promising. Then when people see the game and see it for themselves, they tried the demo, they said, this ain't it, Chief. And they stopped playing it. If you like the game and you enjoy it, that's your business. But like again, look at the sales. Did it sell well? Absolutely not. It did not sell well at all. Final Fantasy 16 did not sell well at all. Final Fantasy Rebirth did not sell well at all. Do you see a pattern here? Like, the pattern is that just because you have 66 million consoles that is outselling Xbox, 3-1, that doesn't equate or equal out to the amount of copies that you're going to get those sales. That's why they said, we're going to go third party. And they're not the only ones. They're not the only studio. Look at Stellar Blade. That game only sold 1 million copies. I got no problems with Stellar Blade. I didn't say anything bad about Stellar Blade. I think Stellar Blade looks like a fantastic, great game. I got no qualms with it, no problems. Even as an Xbox fan. I can even sit here and say, there's no problems with Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade looks fine. It looks great. Go out there and play it. I'm not condemning anybody to say, don't buy that game, don't play that game, or whatever. It's up to you. You see the game, you go out there, you want to play it, you buy it for yourself. Stellar Blade only sold 1 million copies. What does that tell you? That tells you that either the PlayStation community or these fanboys or whatever, these PlayStation fanboys are lying about something. Or the community, like the real community that they're not talking about, do not really care or appreciate Stellar Blade. It's either one or the other, because it doesn't add up. I don't know what else I could tell you. I don't know. I really don't know. But I promise you this, that Stellar Blade is not a bad game at all. By any means of the stretch of imagination. It should be able to do well. It should be able to do sales. It should be able to do this. 1 million copies. That's not good. And remind you, PlayStation brought that exclusive. Before, it used to be multi-plat. I think it was a time exclusive or even multi-plat at some point. I think it was time exclusive for Stellar Blade. Now that since Sony brought them, I don't think they brought the studio, but they brought the IP or whatever, and they say, hey, make this game exclusive to our platform, blah, blah, blah. It's going to do well. It's going to do numbers. And that's only exclusive on PlayStation. Nowhere else. The PlayStation 5. It wasn't on PlayStation 4. It definitely wasn't on the PC. Nowhere else. It was just exclusively on the PlayStation 5. What happened? 1 million. So if that studio would have not agreed to Stellar Blade being a console exclusive on the PlayStation 5, let's say if it was multi-plat, would they have done more than just sold 1 million copies? Yes. No shit. It would have done way better. Look at Black Myth Wukong. Black Myth Wukong sold over 20 million copies. It's probably going up towards 30 million copies now. Is going up in that trend. Imagine if Black Myth Wukong was only a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Are they going to get 30 million copies off of the PlayStation 5? Any means of the stretch of the imagination would have been no. How do we get those numbers that we see that it was sold over 20 million copies, Black Myth Wukong? It was on the PC. And we see it, and the number says this game sold over 20 million copies. That's on the PC. So imagine if this game is on the PlayStation 5, probably was sold another 10 more million copies on top of it. They're probably up to 30 million. Then if it was to release on Xbox, that's another 10 million easily. That's 40 million copies, probably. I'm just making a guess here, but just on an estimate, easily can make 40 million copies, 30 million copies. On PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Multiplat. Instead of being a console exclusive under one exclusive. If Stellar Play was a multiplat, I'm pretty sure that game would have easily sold at least 5 million, 10 million copies. Easily. Especially on PC. Easily can get 10 million. No problem. Or at least like 5, 8 something million copies. Way more than being sold on one platform, which is PlayStation 5 only. They only sold 1 million. PlayStation is holding back these studios to succeed, to grow, to make money. That's what I noticed in PlayStation. PlayStation is, they're not holding back console generations. No. They're holding back studios in the potential of their growth to grow, to make more money, to have better budgets, to make more things. They're being held back by Sony. It's a shame. But then you're going to say, well, what about Xbox? Xbox don't have that fucking issue. Like Forza Horizon 5. So when the next Forza Horizon 6 come out, you think that shit is going to be like what? Oh, they only going to make 10 million. Forza Horizon 5 had well over 30 million fucking players. 30 million. That's exclusively only on the Xbox. And they put it on PC later. 30 million, probably up towards 40 million at some point. Imagine Forza Horizon 6 is going to come out. Xbox says, okay, we're going to put it on Xbox and on the PC. And that shit is going to grow even more numbers. It ain't going to be no 30 million. They're probably going to make 40 million copies. 50 million copies. I'm telling you right now, I don't know what's going on in the PlayStation camp, but they need to get their shit together and stop with this cap. They really do. Even capping for the fucking PlayStation 5 fucking Pro. The Pro model that costed, what, at least $700? And it was barely any of a difference. I saw the video and I watched it, right? Digital Foundry. I sat there, I watched this between the difference between, fidelity and this and that. I watched it. I'm looking at it. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, because like for me, I grew, I moved on. Like I'm not the type of gamer that's like, I'm always stuck in the past. I moved on. You know what I'm saying? I used to be on the PlayStation, PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and then I'm on PC. So I'm a PC gamer. I've been on PC for quite a while, and I've been messing around with PC way back in 2011. 2011. That's when Skyrim came out during the 360. So I've been messing around with PC during that time period all the way up to now. So I know how to work a PC. I've been on PC for a while, and I've been playing games on PC too. And I'm looking at this $700 console that Sony put out and tout that, yes, the GPU, this, that, and all this bullshit. And I'm sitting here laughing. I'm just laughing at this shit. This is hysterical. Like, Like, you think people gonna go out there and run out and spend $700 on a fucking PlayStation 5 fucking Pro and they barely notice a difference? And you're not even selling them any games. And not only that, you slap them in the face on top of, hey, by the way, yeah, we're selling you this $700 fucking console, but we're not gonna give you no disk drive. We're not gonna give you a vertical stand. Cause back on the PlayStation 4 fucking Pro, guess what they had? They had games, and on top of that, they gave you a disk drive, and they gave you a fucking vertical stand with it. It was like about 400 or something dollars for the PS4 Pro. They're asking for 700. No new games that they're showing off. They don't even come with a disk drive nor a vertical stand. $700. And then that's PlayStation 5 Pro. Imagine the next PlayStation console. You think that shit is going to be like, oh yeah, PlayStation 5 Pro, yeah, it's going to be $600, might be $550. No, the fuck is not. I'm calling it right now. It's not. I'm calling it right now. It is not. I promise you that the next generation console going to be up to $1,000. You going to pay $1,000? Certainly not me. If I was in this new generation right now and Sony said, hey, next console is going to be fucking $800, $1,000, this will be me. Bye. Like, this is my last console generation. And I even said this shit on the comment section. I deserve a W. Because I said this is going to be a lot of people last console generation for them. They think I was joking around. They think, but guarantee you, they would, like in my post, they was like, yep, it's gonna be my last console generation for sure. After this, I'm done. I'm going to PC. I can't afford this shit anymore. Consoles should be more affordable, but since they're chasing the power narrative of all these games have to be 60 or whatever, which again, I dealt with PC way longer and I've dealt with a console before. I understand why they have to hold back on the console because of, guess what? They don't want to chase after the power narrative because then the prices will go up. That's why they kept it 30 FPS. That's why they kept it underpriced so then people will go out and buy it and play the games that they want to play. But since all of these delusional PlayStation 5 clowns wants to chase after the power narrative, that's why now we're starting to see consoles now to $700, $800, $900. We're going to go up to $1,000 because they want to try to compete with what? The PC. You can never compete with the PC in terms of power. No matter what Sony will do in their next console one, I promise you, they're not going to catch up to PC. They're not. Their PC and all the car generations and stuff like that, what they have right now, it is so far ahead. It's not even funny at this point. It's really, really not. I don't see them catching up to that at all. There's no way in hell. Not even a sliver of hope. They're not going to catch up to that. Not even a sliver. So knowing that, right? We see the $700 console debacle. And then I touched on this earlier before that I mentioned that Concord, that disastrous fucking launch that costed $400 million to make, lasted for only a week and a half and got pulled the plug. Because you know why? Because the developer in Sony Interactive Studios that supposedly has listened to the fan base clearly are so out of touch and didn't listen to the fan base because nobody was playing fucking Concord. Nobody cared about the game. Nobody even heard about the game. Nobody did even gave it a nudge, a wink, or a praise. Nothing. That came out and it fucking was dead on arrival. Like, truly 100% was dead on arrival. And you know this is not the last fucking game, live service game that's going to be coming out. But they have the nerve to be like, we're going to cancel the factions multiplayer. We're going to cancel Twisted Metal and all this other shit so we could put out this garbage ass slop called Concord. $400 million was being wasted. They could have easily put that $400 million into remaking, I don't know, or even putting money into backwards compatibility. They could have took half of that money or even a quarter of that money to hire software engineers to say, hey, can you hire these people to do backwards compatibility on the PlayStation 5? Just saying. They could have easily took a quarter of that fucking money and did that. That would have bring more PlayStation and the console to have fucking value. But they fucking didn't. Now we're stuck with remakes and remasters from old fucking games. That they already been. I'm telling you, man, PlayStation is fucking cooked. They're cooked. And I just heard not that long ago that they are still going to continue with remakes and remasters. They're not going to stop that. They're going to still continue that. And then all these people are telling me that PlayStation's still the market leader. PlayStation is not the market leader. I'm sorry, but they're not. They are not. This is pretty much getting to the point where this is the final nail in the coffin for Sony. If they don't get their act together in terms of making new games and new IPs for the PlayStation fan base, and when I say the PlayStation fan base, I truly do mean the real PlayStation gamers, the real fans, not the bullshit fans, the real fans, the real ones, right? The ones that do care about PlayStation, that do want to see PlayStation to grow. They want to see new IPs from PlayStation. They want PlayStation to succeed and to do better. But if they continue down this road, I promise you, they're going to be nail in the coffin. They keep on doing this type of dumb shit, they will be in the nail in the coffin. Mark my words on that. And like, again, we already see it now. $700 console. A lot of people are like this. This is the final console for me to pay. I'm done. After this PlayStation 5 generation ends, I'm saving up my money to get a PC. I'm not coming back to this. How's that going to help Sony? That's not going to help Sony at all. And just because they go on PC, guess what? You just think like, oh yeah, they're going to buy all their games on the PC, on PlayStation Watch. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They already sat there and said, look, I'm not paying for another Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm not doing it. When they go on PC, they're moving the fuck on. They're buying their games from scratch. So that means that any of their digital library that they're building up, they're not buying old fucking games. They're not doing it. They don't give a fuck if it was made from PlayStation. They're like, look, I'm not buying another Horizon Zero Dawn game. I'm not buying The Last of Us Part 2 or Part 1 again. I'm not doing it. I'm not rebuying another God of War game. As much as they love the game, they're not doing it. They are not doing it. I promise you. I'm telling you, that's going to be the last. That's it. It's a shame. It really is a shame. Like, it really is. Like, I don't know what else I can tell you, but this is crazy. It's sad. It's a shame. It's just like, bro, I want PlayStation to make new IPs, new games, new this. You know, if they want to do a remake or remaster, do like old games like way back. I don't know, understand, like, with all that money that was being wasted on Concord, they could have easily made games like again, with just even like a little quarter of that fucking budget, like even just 100 million or even $80 million to get us to get a team to do a remake of, Jack and Dexter, do a remake of like The Getaway. That I really wanted that myself. They can easily remaster a game like The Order of 1886. That'd be a great game to put on the platform. They could have easily done Bloodborne. I don't know what the fuck are they doing, but they're clearly not listening to their PlayStation fan base at all. They're losing touch. This is not the PlayStation that I knew from PlayStation 2 and 3 or even the PlayStation 4 generation. This is horrible. And it's just even worse. They're not getting any better. And their little console sales and their little whatever, it ain't going to save them. So they're going to have to really change. They're going to have to really turn the ship around. Because that Ghost of Yotai shit ain't going to save them. People are still holding on to that PlayStation 4 console. They still holding on to that bitch. They are still playing on the PlayStation 4. There's a whole bunch of people that are still playing on the PlayStation 4. There was no reason for them to upgrade. They can see why now because you're doing remakes and remaster. What's the point of upgrading? So what? So then you can get them to play the same old games? And then you got the nerve to talk about Xbox. Oh, well, Xbox ain't got no game. I'm not saying Xbox is perfect. They got their own fucking issues too and problems. But you can't really say shit when it comes down to like, they ain't got no new IPs. They got new IPs, new games on the way. Can't argue. Can't argue with that. For real. These PlayStation delusional fanboys needs to start worried about their own fucking shit and get their own house together. PlayStation is dead and all these videos. Shut the fuck up then. Worry about PlayStation and get them up to snuff where they need to be at, or else they're gonna be nail in the coffin. And let's move on from that to talk about Xbox and Microsoft. What the hell are they doing? Which we already know that they're laying off people, right? Which that's no surprise because both sides are doing it too, but they laid off more people as well, right? They have currently shut down 4 studios, right? Which some people say that's bad. For me, yeah, that's bad. It sucks, but it's like everybody else is doing it. PlayStation is doing it too. But what makes it even worse is the fact that when you make comparison, PlayStation still got more studios than what Sony does. I want Sony to have more studios than PlayStation or even match or come close. It's just like, even if they shut down 4 studios, they still got the IPs and they can still give it to any other studio in there, which we already see that they're doing a Fable, right? A reimagine or remake. Well, not a reimagine, like a reimagine of Fable, and Playground Studios doing it. And Playground Studios is known for making racing games, but they said, here, let's pull this old IP that we already have. Yes, we shut down, I think it was like Lionhead Studios a long time ago that did Fable. We shut that studio down. We still got the IP. Let's just take the IP out of our thing and let's just give it to another studio in that. Good. That's what PlayStation should be doing too. I don't know what the fuck are they doing, but they're doing, at least that's good. Thank God. Right? But then we hearing about that PlayStation is doing a survey on why these developers are skipping, the whole like Xbox development. I don't know what's going on over there, but they need to get their fucking management teams, or they need to have a communication like they need to, instead of, like, I get they're laying off things, but they need to start opening up things too and say, okay, you know what? Yes, we closed down or we laid off this many people from whatever services and whatever, like regular like operator service. They need to reopen something up that where we need a whatever a team of people to answer calls that if they're about to be publishing a game On Xbox, they need to have people ready to go on the phone and have them say, oh, you're publishing a game. Okay, we'll get you here and here and here. Here's all the information. Here's what you need to do. They need some type of communication on that. They need to open up that. So whatever you laid off there, you need to hire some of those people to get those people in charge, to have them to have a one-way communication between a developer that's ready to publish a game on Xbox, and they going to be on the other side of that phone and be ready to go to say, yep, yes, we got your order. Yes, you're going to be putting out this game. Send us the files. We will send it to so and so, and then they're going to do the process right now. That's what they need the most. So Xbox, stop fucking around and start getting on that fucking bullshit. Don't be on that bullshit. Start making a communication of that. If they having a problem between a communication between a developer and a person that they need to get a hold of, you need to create a fucking team of fucking people to pick up the fucking phone and have them fucking ready. Have them email whatever the fuck they need to do. They need to get on that shit ASAP. No, like operator service, like I need help. Not the bullshit of Xbox, Microsoft team help, whatever fucking bullshit. Not that. They need a special, like, dedicated communicating, whatever for developers. So then that way, when a developer is done with their games or they got problems, they should be able to say, look, I should be able to go and call and they're going to pick up the phone and have somebody available and ready to go 24/7. That if I have a problem, they're going to fix my problem. If this game is done and is ready to be published on Xbox, they should be able to pick up the phone and have my game and whatever that we need to send the files or whatever, they're going to be in process and they're going to make it fucking happen for me. Or they're going to send me or whatever to get me the information, what I need to do or whatever. That communication needs to be now. Stop fucking around. This is ridiculous. They need to start doing that. So, again, Xbox tools and stuff like that is fine, whatever. But their main crutch is having a two-way communication between the developers and Microsoft and Xbox to get ready to start publishing this shit. So they need to start getting that ball running. They need to start making a building or a dedicated team of people that's in there ready to take calls and emails and making sure sending files where they need to go so they can say, hey, this developer and so in this country is ready to publish this game to be on our platform. We're going to send this file and this game to Xbox so they can start doing the process now. That's what they need to start doing. Dead ass. Because if they don't fucking do that, it's going to be a fucking disaster. Okay? There should be no rhyme or reason that they are unable to put a game on the Xbox platform. Both of these consoles run fucking similar. Stop acting like they're running different. They are running the same and they should be running similar. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but they need to do it. Uncle Phil, get off your fucking ass and do it. Get the uppers. Get Satya Nadella, whatever the fuck his name is, and tell him, get off your fucking ass and fucking start doing that. It's ridiculous. Because even Windows itself and Microsoft itself with Windows, they should be having that same fucking shit too. A two-way conversation between me as a fucking customer and fucking Satya Nadella. That fucking asshole needs to pick up the phone. Because if I have a fucking problem with my shit that you keep fucking breaking, you need to get on their ass and say, hey, yo, this software, whatever, you need to make changes. This needs to be fixed or else they're going to be switching over to Apple. And Apple is ahead. Microsoft is just behind. So if you want to make the leap forward, you better treat your customers with customer service with fucking care. And it better start happening. Or else it's going to be not looking good because you're going to be losing money and wasting a lot of people's time. So Xbox, Microsoft, Windows, all those motherfuckers, you better start working together and make it happen. because that's ridiculous. It should not be a problem. That's my criticism on Microsoft's side. But other than that, in terms of the games and how they release in, they already made that very clear from the beginning of this generation that they are putting more games in other platforms and they're cracking shit open. They're being successful. That's what they need to do. That's what PlayStation needs to do. Because PlayStation trying to keep things under one platform is not bringing enough money to any of these publishers. Even with third-party dealings and backing, ain't bringing them the money that they used to have. Most of these people are starting to switch over to PC. They're just sitting there, they're just fed up with this shit. And they're not the only one. But Microsoft said to us, as gamers, as me, as a fan of Xbox, he said to me, look, you don't need a console to play these games. You can go on PC or go anywhere else you want. Good. Because I want to go on PC. I get tired of these fucking consoles. I want to be able to enjoy and play my games. And they put the games on the platform on PC. Thank you. You see, PlayStation is copying because you know why? Because there is not enough for them to make sales. But at least they're doing it. They made that fucking clear. So I don't have a fucking problem. They need to do stuff different. They need to make changes. This whole console war bullshit, I'm telling you, this console war nonsense is over. Exclusivity is over. That's not the main vocal point. Now the main point is, what games are you putting out for me to buy? And is it good? Because if it's not like Black Myth Wukong level, or it's on that level of like Larian Studio with like whatever, even if it was a AA game and it's really good, if it's not on that level, then what the fuck is the point of me buying this fucking game for? I'm not wasting my money or time on this garbage. You better deliver on some games that I want to play or else. It's just that simple. So, like I'm telling you, they made it fucking clear what Xbox is doing. I don't have an issue. They need to make changes. They need to do stuff different. I can't expect them to do console sales and stuff. Like, it wouldn't make a fucking difference. PlayStation will still outsell them anyway, regardless. Oh, but they need to copy games like fucking PlayStation. No, that's not going to work either. Just because you can copy the same amount of games or the same type of style of games, that doesn't mean it's going to sell. Xbox needs to be Xbox and what Xbox do best. They make games differently from PlayStation. That's why I like Xbox, because they're not the same bullshit as PlayStation. Imagine if Xbox were to copy PlayStation right now in terms of remakes and remaster, we will be in serious fucking trouble. Because if they're both of these companies are not putting out any new games or IPs, they will both be in trouble. No, they're not. Yes, they will. Because they're not putting out any new games. If they wasn't putting out any new games, it was just remakes and remasters of like games that came out on last gen consoles. Both of these two, no matter if it's Xbox or PlayStation, we will be in trouble. That's why I want Xbox to be Xbox. Let Xbox do its thing. That's why I like Xbox. Because they're not the same like fucking Sony's garbage. I'm tired of Sony's garbage. I used to love Sony games way back then. No problem. Like this game, I was playing them. It was great. Why I don't play them now and why I don't never went back to the PlayStation consoles after the PlayStation 2, because they stopped making the games that I wanted to see. I love the games that has potential. I liked it, the Getaway back then on the PlayStation 2. I was looking forward to the next Getaway game. That's what I was like, literally like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. This is going to rival with Grand Theft Auto. Because it was way ahead of its time. And it was like something like, yes, this is what I want to see out of Sony. And guess what? They didn't do shit. They canceled it. They buried it in the hatch. They got London Studio doing something fucking different, doing these VR games. And then guess what happens to London Studio? They got shut down. That happened like what, last year? They got shut down, or is it this year or last year? But they got shut down. Now London Studio, that the makers that did this type of game, is no more. So my favorite franchise that I love so much back on the PlayStation 2 will never see the light of day. That's something you want me to come back to PlayStation and root for? Fuck you. I'm not doing that. No. No, as a gamer myself, I got more respect, and I'm not dealing with that type of shit. I'm not going to be ending up being heartbroken every single time. Just like how the Order of 1886 came out on the PlayStation 4. PlayStation 4, Order of 1886. I loved that game. That game looked amazing. I was like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. Now you bringing back the PlayStation that I know from back from PlayStation 2, how I felt. It was great. People wanted to see a sequel. People wanted to do, what happened to that? The Ready at Dawn got sold off by Meta. Then whatever, a year, couple years later, where they at now? Meta has shut down Ready at Dawn Studios that did the Order of 1886. They even did PlayStation title games, spin-off games from the PSP Vita. It breaks my heart. It's just like I can't deal with that anymore. That's why I left. I was like, nope, never again. I'm not dealing with that. Nope. Nope. I'm not gonna be tricked or wooed into like, hey, we got this really amazing game, which I do like and I respect it. But if you're not gonna support it long terms and you're just gonna shut it down and keep the IP dormanted for years and years and years, then I'm not gonna support your platform. I'm sorry. Mm-mm. Sorry. Can't do it. So there's that, right? But Xbox, like again, they're doing things different, and I want them to do things different, and they need to come up with a different strategy, and I respect that. So, other than that critique of like PlayStation in terms of communication wise, in terms of developers and relationships, they need to get on that shit ASAP. Other than that, I have really no issues or problems what they're doing. Nothing major. If there was something major, then I will talk about it. But other than that, I'm perfectly fine because I'm on the PC. I'm liking Game Pass what they're doing. They're putting Call of Duty Black Ops on there. We're getting Stalker 2 like next month after October, which is around my birthday. Thank you. I appreciate it, Uncle Phil. And then we're getting Indiana Jones in December. I'm playing Shattered Space currently. I'm perfectly fine. I got games to play, new IPs, DLCs. I'm perfectly good. I'm happy. I'm good. Even though you see me with a straight face, but on some real stuff, I'm good. Well, what is there for me to be mad or upset about? Because I'm like, they're delivering games what they supposed to do, which I can't really complain. But then people are saying, oh, they should be playing like they should have 60 FPS mode and all this bullshit, blah 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 blah, and all this power narrative. I don't chase after the power narrative because I want console gaming to be affordable for everyone to play, not unaffordable like we see with the PlayStation 5 fucking Pro, $700 fucking dollars. And there's barely any of it different. They haven't even upgraded the CPU, and they only upgraded the GPU. Why would I want Xbox to be in that same situation? It makes no fucking sense. They don't even need to. They already have a console that's $500 that's able to play these games. If they have to play it in 30, that's perfectly fine. Let it play in 30. You want the power and all that shit, 60 FPS and all that, get the fucking PC. I had to learn that the hard way, right? I didn't know any better. But now, having PC experience for well over 10 years, I can promise you that now I understand why that these consoles are the way they are. I understand that. And I want them to sell consoles, but affordable for people to play the games. Not unaffordable that they can't play the fucking games. Because if it's unaffordable, guess what's going to happen? All these people are going to be moving towards where? PC. Oh, but PlayStation now sell. Yeah. And guess what? The number is going to shrink smaller and smaller and smaller. That's what's going to happen. Yes, I get it. Xbox is going to they're going to put out another console. It's going to be digital. They're phasing it out. I already explained that from the beginning. It was going to phase out anyway. So, we're seeing it now. I can't really complain about it. I mean, look at Apple's phones, right? Selling 1,000 some odd dollars for Apple phones, like 1,300, whatever. And then they don't even come with a charger, the cable wires. They used to come with all that shit. They used to come with the earbuds, the charger, the wire for it. They used to come everything included in the box. They don't even have that anymore. All that shit is phased out and you're still paying 1,300. Right? So am I paying a phone 1,300? Fuck no. I'm only paying the phone that I can afford. I'm only paying this phone for like 200. That's it. That's my max. I don't go any over than that. It does what it needs to do. Plays the video. I can send messages. I'm good. I'm happy. What more do I need from a $1,300 phone? Right? Just like how people are questioning now with that $700 console. Why would Xbox wants to make a $700 console? It'd be stupid. Glad they make the right choice. Now they start talking about handhelds, right? With the Xbox. So hopefully we might see a handheld at some point, which is a good thing. Good. I'm telling you, man, Xbox is doing the things what they need to do. Does everybody agree or whatever likes what Xbox is doing? I'm pretty sure not a lot of people do. Right? There's some things that I don't like here and there. But then again, when you really take a step back and you look at what's going on in the world and you see like the music industry went from physical, like again, we went from record players, cassette tapes, CDs. Now they phase it out and we're in digital. Right? Look at the phones, right? They used to say, oh, look, here's some earbuds, this and that in the box, the charger and this. Like Apple, they phase it out. All you're getting is just the phone. That's it. You see what they're doing. Right? It's the same thing for gaming. You see how we went from cartridges to CDs, Blu-rays, and then now you're starting to see that they're digital and then they're starting to phase out. They're starting to phase that physical stuff out, going into digital. Nothing we can really do, but hey, you know what we can do? The power is we can vote for our wallets, and that's what a lot of people are doing now, especially with inflation prices, the stuff going on around the world. Vote with your wallets. You don't like something, do not buy it. Trust me. And it's working. You see what Ubisoft is suffering? PlayStation is going to suffer too. They keep on doing these remakes and remasters. Xbox problem is just communication between a developer and between a developer that has the game ready, but they don't got a one-way or a two-way conversation between Xbox, communicating back saying, oh, if you have problems, go do this. They got that issue and they need to fix that ASAP. Other than that, in terms of gaming that they're developing, they're putting out new games, they're putting out IPs. So I really can't really complain about it. The only gripe that I have is that little thing, and that's it. Other than that, I can't stop the future, what it's going to become. Shit is going to change. We all changed from 10 years ago. Come on now. If we go travel back in time 10 years ago, we used to be like, oh man, we were single, we got whatever, we drive, we drink, we hang out with friends, all this other bullshit. Fast forward from 10 years later, where you're at now. You have a family now, you got a wife now, you got kids now. You went from this shitty ass McDonald job to now you're working at a career job now. Like you're upgrading yourself, right? You're working more harder, you're being more responsible, you're much more humble now. That's what happens. That's what it is. Like 10 years now, you're not the same person from 10 years ago. Gaming is not going to be the same from 10 years ago to now. Gaming has changed, and we're seeing it now. It is what it is. What you want me to do? I can't change anything. It is what it is. But the power is up to you, yourself, and your wallet. That's the power you have. You don't like something, you don't have to buy it. You don't like an Apple phone, don't fucking buy it. That's my best thing. I ain't buying no fucking Apple phone. Like, no. Fuck out of here. I don't care what other people wear. Oh, they got Nike Jordans and shit. You should wear them too. I don't have to wear your fucking shit. Shit is cost fucking $150 fucking dollars. You think I'm gonna waste $150 on one pair of shoes? You must be out of your fucking mind. That's you. You got money to do that? Go right ahead. I got money like that. If I got $150 in my pockets right now and I want to buy some shoes, guess where I'm going? Burlington Coat Factory. I ain't ashamed of saying that. I will go there, buy 3 pairs of shoes, 4 pairs of shoes, and walk out of there. You brought 1 pair, I brought 4. That's how I'm going to be. That's how I spend my money. Fuck that. Shit. But yeah, that's about Xbox. I'm wrapping it up from there. I really got nothing else really to say or gripes about it. Other than that, they're doing what they're supposed to do. Only that little gripe of like communication between the developer and Xbox in terms of porting games over, they need to fix that. Other than that, they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're making new IPs, they're putting new games, right? Yes, they're shutting down studios and shit that I don't like. But again, comparing the studios, the amount of studios that they have currently right now between PlayStation is a night and day difference. Just because they shut down 4, that doesn't mean like they're going out of business. They still got mobile games. They still got Blizzard. They still got all these other studios from Bethesda that they're working on games. They got Xbox Studio games too, so I'm not really worried about it. What is there to worry about? They're doing just fine. Let them do what they got to do. They're fighting a different battle now. Now the battle is quality of their games and attention and the fun of the games. That's what they're focusing on, which is good. Focus on them. We need fun games to play. Cinematics is not going to carry gaming through. You got to do other shit too. Speaking of which we should move on to our final topic. Start kind of like wrapping it up here, because I've been sitting here talking my ass off about this because it's just crazy. Going into the final one, Starfield DLC. The DLC that we have, I'm gonna put it like this way. I have played Starfield DLC Shattered Space for at least 5 hours. During the course of those 5 hours, I'm playing it on the PC and I'm playing it on Game Pass. And I do have the copy on Steam as well. I do have the copy of Shattered Space and the copy of Starfield on Steam. So I got the Game Pass version and I got the Steam version. I'm currently playing the Xbox Game Pass version that I'm playing, and I did purchase the DLC on that version because I'm doing a Let's Play video and stuff like that, so I'm playing it on there and doing a whole bunch of videos and I'm uploading it. So, during that time, right, of me playing Starfield Shattered Space, playing the game, and still currently playing the game, I honestly don't believe in what these people are saying. Like, these people are saying that the game is boring. or the game doesn't have enough content, or this is the, whatever, some garbage ass bullshit. And I've been playing it for 5 hours. I'm like, what the fuck are you even talking about? I'm scratching. I've been scratching my head like this. I've been like scratching my head. I'm like, what the fuck are these people are even talking about? What are they talking about? Like, I don't even understand. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, what is so boring about this shit? There's nothing boring here. Everything in the story is fucking good and is interesting. Great, great dialogue conversations. Overhearing people from a distance of like arguments and fights. Hearing other things as well, just like, ooh, this is interesting or whatever. And I'm like, where's all the bad stuff? I don't see anything bad about this game. It's funny. It really is funny. Because like again, uh like okay, when let's start off with this one right here. Right, this was funny as hell. So I was hearing a lot of reviewers that review this game and bashing on it and all this bullshit, right? Saying that it's boring and all this shit. So I went to Mr. Matty Plays, right? So when I was hearing his video, and I sat there and I watched it, and I'm hearing it, he was saying about like, there was one part of it, this was funny, because he's like, okay, he played the game, beat the main quest, blah, 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 and all this shit. Sat there, he probably didn't do anything else. But, he said that why is Chunks is the store or the food store in Starfield. He said, why is Chunks is whatever is here in the Varun Kai planet. Like there was a Chunks like an actual like store that's like closed down or whatever. Why is Chunks is actually here? He was like confused. He didn't understand why. And you know what's funny? That I'm only playing it. I played it for like at least 5 hours, and I can already answer that question because I already met the NPCs that's there that are camping at the Chunks place. I thought it was abandoned at first. Then when I went downstairs and I see, oh, okay, well I see there's like NPCs hanging around here. What's going on? Like, did they take over this? Did they rebel? Did they whatever? And then when I go talk to one of the NPC, the group leader, he was explaining to me how they don't like what the people in the main town, which is, the Varun or the Serpent, they didn't believe in what they was saying or whatever. They have their own, different dispute. So they left that city and they're camping out there at the Chunks thing. And then on top of that, he asked him like, what's going on? Why is Chunks is closed? Why is whatever? I asked him that question. He already gave me the fucking answer. The reason why it's closed is because they didn't do business. And on top of that, they didn't like change. So at some point they wanted, or they probably at some point throughout the history or whatever, maybe there was certain people that's there that want to change or want to bring in new ideas or whatever. So they decided, let's just bring Chunks to bring in a new idea. Maybe it's not in the city, but it's outside of the city. They approved that, which again, you start to see, like, you see how shit is out of place. Because I'm like, if Chunks is outside of the city, right, which is outside of the city of House Varun, and you know how they are, because if you played the game or you met these people, you have a clear fucking idea how these people are. House Varun people are not like your friendly fucking people. They're not the type of people that like, yeah, we're just gonna let anybody in here. And they're definitely not the type of people that's gonna say, yeah, we're gonna make changes like this. They're not like that. These are very strict people. These type, like House Varun people, what they remind me of in real life? I'm surprised that everyone on here is bashing about this, but I'm like, do you even know what type of religion or what type of people in this type of culture in real life? Do you even know? It's it's so baffling that the fact that I am half black and half Puerto Rican, that I'm Christian, that even I know fucking better, and sat there and said, yeah, these House Vrum people are more relatable to like the Middle East type of people, Middle East type of religion, like Hamas, like, you know, believing in that type of religion, and have a mix of maybe like Buddhism, a little bit of Buddhism religion, like Indian religion. Like, it's a mix. I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm 100% right. I could be wrong on that. But I'm pretty damn sure that that like House Varun represent more of the Middle East culture of Hamas. They represent that type of religion. Maybe not exactly like one to one. I'm not saying they're perfect. This is a make-believe fictional world. I get that. However, just by meeting these people and talking to them, it's closer to the culture of that. You get what I'm saying? I'm sitting here, I'm like, how the fuck does anybody hasn't even fucking realized that House Varun is a representation or even close to actual religion like Hamas in real life? How the fuck does anybody didn't know that? And this is where, again, I'm scratching my head here, and I'm like, does these fucking reviewers has even played the game or have any type of fucking idea or any imagination or no fucking thought process? It's baffling. It's stunning to me that the fact that you got Mr. Matty Plays sitting there wondering why is it then Mr. Matty, why the fuck you didn't even talk to them? They obviously will give you the fucking answer. It's right there. Oh my god. I said to myself like like how stupid can you fucking be? Like I'm serious. I'm fucking serious. I'm like, how fucking dumb can you be? That's how you know that Mr. Matty Plays and all the rest of these reviewers rushed through the game and did not play the game. There's a difference between playing a game and rushing a game. When you rush through a game, you're just beelining to the game. So you're gonna beat it in less than 5 hours. And that goes for any game. Doesn't matter if it's a Larian game. Doesn't fucking matter if it's fucking Cyberpunk. It doesn't fucking matter if it's a Bethesda game. You can easily beeline the fucking game through and beat it in a certain amount of time. I bet you can beat Cyberpunk 2077 base game in one day. You can beeline through it. You can beat that in one day. Very easy. But what I don't understand is the fact that you could sit here and say all this other bullshit in your fucking so-called review. Like, why is this here? Why didn't you got this here? Why didn't you got that there? Here's another example, right? A lot of people said this. Why did Bethesda did not put new ship parts in House Varun? Right? You know, like House Varun supposedly have like ships and stuff like that. Why they didn't put any new ship parts in House Varun or whatever, right? Or new ship, ship, whatever. Right? You know what's funny? You know what's funny? It's the fact that in the beginning of the game, right? When you first landed there, right? And they take you in and all this bullshit. Before you do that, if you actually go over there by the ship technician, right? If you go over there and you talk to him, it basically will answer that question for you. Why did Bethesda did not put new ship parts in the game or House Varun ship parts? That's easy to answer, because if you go over there and you talk to the technician, he's going to tell you what? He's going to say, the only way that I learned how to be a ship technician, which this is a House Varun. This is not like a person. This is not like they took the NPC from New Atlantis or anywhere else. This is completely their own people acting like a ship technician. And when I asked him the question of, Like, how do you become a ship technician? Oh, I worked it with my father. So when I asked him, he told me, I worked it at, right? I worked it with my father, and I, whatever, did this and this and that with my father. I learned from him doing this and this and that. Then when he found out that what his father was doing, you know what he was doing? When he got older and he got more wiser, he started to see that, oh yeah, what they did was they stole fucking ships. And you know how they stole it? By killing them or stealing them. And they brought it back to House Varoon to be fucking chopped down and be recreated in their own fucking thing. That's what they did. So basically, any of House Varoon fucking ships was made or built off of fucking ships that they already exist in the fucking game. That was in the game. That's that, and then you start to click in your brain. Oh, so that's why that they didn't put new ship parts in House Varoon, because what they did was they just stole other fucking ships and they killed them and they brought them back to the fucking planet and chop it down in a chop shop and throw their own fucking shit together and say, "Oh look, we're House Varoon. This is our ship." You know what that reminds me of in real life? That's like basically fucking China stealing fucking military plans from the United States of jet planes and say, yeah, oh no. They say, oh, let's just steal their fucking jet ideas and their jets and how they look. Let's just steal that and just make it in our own jets. Look, these are our fighter jets. And then when you compare between the Chinese fighter jets and the American fighter jets, they look exactly identical and the fucking same. That's what the fuck House Varoon has done. That's basically what they did. Oh my god. It's upsetting. It's upsetting to me that the fact that you did not fucking realize that and you putting out a fucking review. How could you put out a fucking review without even knowing that shit? Oh, I know why. Because you basically speed run throughout the whole fucking game without even fucking realizing or spending the time to investigate in the fucking game and playing it. Because it would have fucking told you. That's why I'm like this to these reviewers that rush through the game and playing it. They don't spend the time to play the actual game. Play the game. Play it, and then you'll find out. That's what I did. I don't rush through games. I play the game. If you play the game and take a step back and really go around and investigate, it's going to answer a lot of those fucking questions. Oh, why they don't got ship parts? Because they fucking stole fucking ships. Why did they got the chunks store out here in the middle of fucking Starfield? Why do you, dumbass? Do you not fucking realize that Chunks is not even in fucking House Varoon territory? It's on the outskirts. What does that fucking tell you? They probably sat there, was hell bent. Probably those fucking counselors says, no, we don't want to bring fucking this shit over here. And then they try to fight it and they say, fine, we'll bring it here, but it ain't gonna be inside of House Varoon territory. It's gonna be outside of the outskirts. Why you think Chunks got shut down? Because people didn't like change. And then on top of that too, you was dealing with fucking monsters and shit. I guarantee you they didn't fucking send security guards from House Varoon security to say, hey, since we built Chunks over here, let's go send security guards. They didn't fucking do that. They didn't do that. They said, you want them to be here? Then they're going to have to defend themselves. Man, y'all motherfuckers gotta start learning how to play some games and start using your fucking brain. And also on top of that, you gotta use some type of imagination. The lack of imagination will equals to that you're unable to play this fucking game. Because I use my imagination all the time. Even at one point, even in the game, right, this was even more baffling. That when Mr. Matty was talking about, like, oh, I went out to whatever, whatever, and then I found a spaceship that was crashed, and then I found another spaceship crash. And then it's like blah, 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 right? He said that's the problem because I found two crashed spaceship around the whatever at Starfield. Mr. Matty doesn't have Mr. Matty Plays has the lack of imagination. Given the fact that what I was just telling you with those two instances, watch this. I can give you an imagination scenario why you found two spaceships that are crashed out on the field and you found two. I can give you a scenario. You know why? Because I promise you that House Vram people, those people that, whatever, because remember, the incident that happened, right? That calamity that happened, right? What's going on over there, the DLC, right? That happened like 4 to 3 weeks before I even arrived there. So the main character showed up 3 to 4 weeks later of this incident. We didn't show up there when the incident like happened right then and there. This was after, like 3 to 4 weeks later. So when this incident happened, right? When this incident happened, right? This is funny. I guarantee you that a lot of people that was in that fucking city was probably want to fucking leave. Who wouldn't? This is not that hard to imagine. Imagine that if some calamity or something exploded around our city, right? Like something happens, like there was an explosion, a missile or whatever, right? That is being attacked in your fucking town. You think you're gonna fucking stick around in the fucking town? No, I'm gonna stay there. Everything is fine, even though there's missiles shooting at us or whatever and explosions everywhere and bullets and everything else. No, I'm going to sit there. Everything is good, everybody. I'm going to sip on my tea. The lack of imagination. Knowing the fact that that fucking shit happened in the game, that calamity, I bet you most of the fucking citizens wanted to get on the ship and get the fuck up out of there. Who wouldn't? Bitch, you have vortex coming out of fucking nowhere. You got creatures and monsters fucking tearing up fucking people. What do you think most of those fucking people are sitting there saying, man? They are abandoning their belief. They're saying, fucking the serpent, man. Fuck the serpent. I need to get the fuck out of here to safety. They probably try to get on that spaceship and try to fly away. But you know what? I bet you that the House Vram did. You know what House Vram did? I guarantee you they said they probably used that religion against them and say, well, the great serpent said that we can't let anybody that's in here to escape or to leave our city. So guess what we're gonna do? Let's just shoot them. Let's just shoot the fucking ship down. Even though there might be hundreds, if not thousands of people on that fucking spaceship that you found crashed, they said they probably House Vram and the council said, shoot the fucking ship down. You think they're not capable of doing that? House Vram is more than capable and ruthless to shoot a fucking ship down, even if they can make up a fucking story like the great serpent said that to me. The serpent told me inside that I need to blow up the ship and say, do not let those people go. They are willing to make sacrifices. They're willing to kill civilians, even if they are so-called believers of the great serpent, or they abandon it. They will shoot that ship down out the sky without a problem. And it doesn't have to be in that particular location in the city. They can go do that shit from any location. Who knows? They might have lasers. They might have a laser. They have a missile lock launcher. I wouldn't be surprised. That they said they gave the green light and say, shoot that fucking ship down. Even though that those are their people, they are willing to kill their own people. They don't care. They do not give a fuck. Do you not even see in the real world that's happening now? See, it doesn't take that hard to imagine that. It doesn't take that hard. That's why you found two spaceships. Probably House Vram probably shot those bitches down while they're trying to escape for safety. Who knows that where they was going? They could have been going to Genesis. They could have went to New Atlantis or whatever. New Atlantis or Aquila City. They could have been went to Neon for refugees to just stay there for now. To say we want the crisis to be over because we don't know what's going on over there. We'll have lost all faith and belief in the serpent. We just want to leave for our safety and our family. And the council said, yeah, we'll let you go and all that stuff, blah, blah, fine, whatever. And they turn around and stab them in the back and say, yeah, let's just shoot the ship down. Let them hear what they hear and what they believe in, thinking like they're gonna take off safely. Soon as they got to a certain point, boom. That's why you see the space crash and the fucking ships are dead. Who knows? Maybe it might be vice versa. Maybe there was like ships that are crash landed on there and they fucking died. Maybe they got shot down. Maybe these was invaders. Shot them down. There's many, many different ways you can imagine what can happen. But we don't know the truth. It's up to you what you want to believe in. I'm only telling you. But you see, it's not that hard to imagine. What the fuck is this? I'm very, very disappointed in a lot of people bashing on this shit because I'm like, 5 hours in, I'm hooked. Like this is no different from Skyrim. But Skyrim was good. Skyrim is a 13-year-old game. This game came out like what, 2020, 2021, 2022 or something like that? No, wait, it's not 2022. 2023 it came out. Right, Starfield. Better animations, better stuff, better everything, and it's still the same Bethesda game. What are we fucking really complaining about? It's the same game. It's the same people that are talking and stuff like that. Yes, the story is different and we're in a different environment. We're in a different situation, but this is, if you can go back and play Skyrim, that's a 13-year-old game without a problem. They're using the same mechanics, the same talk, the same thing. Nothing really changed about that game unless you're using mods. Then Starfield is no different. They just made improvements of facial features and stuff like that. It's still the same Bethesda game, which is perfectly fine. Same story, got new this, and they're doing stuff different. But then I'm hearing about like, oh, this and that. What the fuck are you talking about? I don't think you understand how to play the game because I'm sitting here, I'm like, Starfield, the focal point of Starfield, what drives people in Starfield? What drives them? What drives all these NPCs? Like again, when you look at Skyrim was driven by what? It was driven by the Dragonborn. It was driven by you as the character having these powers, and throughout the whole game, you wasn't really worried about politics or you wasn't really worried about, all this shit going on. You was mainly focusing on yourself playing the game and you want to get more powerful because you are the Dragonborn. You didn't get powers off the bat. You had to find powers and then you had to level up yourself. So what you did, you took on quests, dungeons, right? You did, you weapon craft, you did a whole bunch of stuff to level up yourself to become more powerful and strong. That's what you did throughout Starfield. I mean, sorry, not Starfield, Skyrim. That's what you did. That was the driving force. That's what makes you go back and play that game, because it made you in that fantasy of, I am this being, this all-powerful being, and I can go out here and become even more powerful and dangerous to let loose on this world, either by saving them, or I can destroy them, or I can kill them. The choice was up to you how you want to approach it. Where do you want to go? How do you want to start the game? That's up to you. But the driving force was you was this dragonborn, this all-powerful being. That's who you was. What was the driving force in Fallout? Specifically Fallout 4. What was the driving force throughout that whole game? The driving force throughout that game wasn't just because of, oh, I'm there to go rescue my son. But the driving force for everyone in that game was, oh, all of these people are dead. So guess what? Now I'm in charge and power. Now I want to become power. I want power amongst all these people, right? That's why when you go out in the world, people have factions. People was under other people. There was, but again, there was like a leader. There was somebody that was in charge of this power now, because all these other people, like the law and everything else, is being thrown away. There is no law anymore. You can go out there and kill anybody or be friends with people, but it's up to you how you want to go about it. So it was a lawless land. It was basically lunatics and people who was running in different of these factions can just basically do whatever the fuck they want. There was no law. There wasn't nobody stopping them from doing this and that. They can literally kill anybody, rape anybody. They could just do whatever they want. That's what drives those people to go out there in the wasteland. But there was other dangers as well. Super mutants came around. Death claws was like mutated creatures was on the rise. But again, that was basically the driven factor for everyone. Everyone wants to be powerful. Everyone wants to be a leader and be in charge because everyone else was dead. So they need somebody to look up to, whether it was a falsified religion or some scientific weird time machine sentinel from the future is going to come back and destroy everything else. I don't know. But again, they made that fantasy, that post-apocalyptic world, it was survival and power. You had nothing, and then you have to make something out of yourself. You have to survive throughout this. You got to be careful around this, or else if you don't be careful, you're going to get killed. Okay, so we know about Skyrim, we know about Fallout 4. So what was the driving force in fucking Starfield? The driving force of Starfield is basically taking the background of like Skyrim with all their political stuff that was going on, like the wars and stuff. Like, you didn't see the war happening between the Empire and I forgot the other faction, but the Empire and the North whatever. You didn't see the war was going on in the background. You didn't see like fights was happening. You saw camps in Skyrim, but you didn't actually see like real combat engagement with them, because the politics and everything else and like corporation and politics and stuff like that was in the background. That wasn't in the forefront. That was in the background. That didn't matter, because what was more important in Skyrim, it was dragons and stuff like that you had to stop. You want to become more powerful. There was evil entities and stuff like that. That was the driving force in Skyrim. Starfield, they did the opposite. What's the driving force in Starfield? Corporations. People that was already in power, that's already have factions. Factions, corporations, politics, religion. That's the driving force in Starfield. It makes sense. Aquila City and the Freestar Collective don't see eye to eye with the UC Vanguard or the UC, in general. They have their differences. They both want to fight a good fight, and they both was in conflict at some point. But you got to understand the politics and everything else, the war, this, that, those are the driving force in Starfield. House Vram with the Starfield Shattered Space DLC. What's the driving force in that? Religion. Religion was the driving force of those people, whether they believe in the serpent or not. And every religion is different in that game. Not every religion is the same. But that's the driving force of people, how they live, what they believe, science. Those are the driving force factors. People who has wealth and money, right? Constellation wasn't free. Constellation was founded by who? A wealthy individual that is putting money into it because of what? Of artifacts and discoverability, science, things surrounding that nature. That's the driving force of Starfield. It's more diplomatic than anything else. It's a more of a diplomatic religion kind of role, like whatever. That's the force of driving it. You go to Neon. What's the driving force in Neon? Corporations. Corporation in what? In greed, espionage. People that are making shady deals and stuff like that. That's what the driving force in Neon, in the city, how they stay alive. Did you not fucking realize that? That's what I just don't understand. Like, you don't realize that shit? That's happening today, right now. What's the drive? What's with the driving? What's with people like with the Palestinians and stuff, right? Like with all that shit going on, right? With Israel, Iraq, Iran, whatever. You see what's going on with all these religion. The Jews don't like the Palestinians and non-believers and all that stuff. Like, like these, like, again, there's that's the driving force. Religion could be a driving force. Corporations is a driving force. Factions, military is a driving force. That's what the driving force in Starfield. And also other things too, the unknowns, the exploring and discovering new things. We already explore everything in on Earth pretty much, maybe except for underneath the water ocean. We're probably going to get to that point too, where we're going to discover more things underwater. But we mostly discover everything across this land. Imagine trying to discover out there beyond the stars and stuff like that. That's basically what Starfield is about. And there's other things too that are manipulating or pulling strings. House Vram is pulling strings, like, obviously, whether you believe in what they believe in their religion. But there's also bad people in the background and actors that are, guess what, pulling the strings, manipulating them or controlling them or making them have a different mindset or whatever to get them to do whatever they want them to do. That's what Starfield always been about. I can't believe a lot of people didn't catch on to that. But if you really take a step back and think about it and say, you know what? That's fucking true. Because the Crimson Fleet has their own motivation. Spacers have their own motivation. Right? Vram and their goons and their squad has their own motivation with religion and stuff. The Freestar Collective, the military, has a different motivation in their own type of ways of how they, pull the strings than they would in the UC Vanguard or the UC in general. Like, the UC has their own secrets and stuff like that. Freestar Collective has their own problems and stuff, and their greed. Like, if you actually haven't noticed that, I don't know what kind of game are you playing, but I'm telling you, the game is not boring. It's interesting because you're looking at it between that perspective of this is more towards religion. This is more towards like how the culture, how they live in that environment. And the environment is pretty harsh. It's not as easy to live there. 'Cause trust me, if a calamity happens in that game and all those NPCs are trying to abandon it and try to leave, I wouldn't blame them not one bit. I would have been out of there too. I would have been the fuck out of there. Been out of there. But, and that's the interesting part, looking at a religion from a different perspective. Knowing myself, I'm Christianity, right? I'm Christian. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. But when you play the game, right, and you see a different perspective of the religion, you start to see the good and you start to see some of the bad. Just like no matter what religion you're in, even in mine, in terms of my belief in Jesus Christ and God Himself and the Bible, right? I'm not a religion nut. I'm not like these full on Christianities coming out here and pitchforks and this and that. If you do this, you're gonna be banned from the church and blah blah blah. There's some extremisms out there. Every religion has that. The Jews, they have that. Hell, even if you want to know a real particular group, even Amish people. Just because Amish people, they don't live in the technology or the world that we're living in now, but even in that little village that they're living in, those Amish people, I promise you, it's not all cracked up and sunshine and rainbows. It's not all cracked up to be. There is some lot of dark things that happened there. People that got killed, murdered. That's still happening in Amish village. It's not like it's like, oh, they don't get robbed, they don't ever get killed, they know, whatever. No, they do. They do. Yes, they do. They have their own little village, own little rules. They got their own little things. Like they're not a part of the United States like we're living in. They have their own world. And trust me, it is a far cry from what we're living in, what they're living in. But even in what they're living in, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you think they don't got any dark secrets and stuff like that, yes they do. Yes they do. I wouldn't be surprised that they didn't go through a whole bunch of shit. Like they trust me, trust and believe me, I know. They've been through some shit. But that's the interesting part about it. It's like if I was an outsider, right? Like in Starfield is basically is playing it in a perspective like you are an outsider from this universe and you're looking into what's going on. Imagine me being an outsider going into the Amish. It'd be like a whole different world to me. You don't think it's not going to be terrifying? Hell yes it will, because I don't know how they proceed and do, or how they speak, or how they talk, or what they do. Any other religion, I don't know. What can I say? What I can't say. It's a whole different perspective when you're looking from the outside looking in. Basically, that's what Starfield is right now with the DLC. You're an outsider looking in. You're seeing what's going on. You're putting your own two senses into things, what's going on, and what to find, what to look for. That's what you basically do. It was no different from playing Skyrim. For the first time when I played Skyrim, I played it from a perspective, I'm an outsider looking in. I don't know anything about Skyrim and all this lore and anything like that. I just pick up the game and play it. And I played it over and over and over again until I learned about what Skyrim is all about. Skyrim wasn't handed out on a silver platter. They literally said, here's this world, go right ahead. So I had to come up with my own ideas and my own imagination to play that game. Until I find answers. If I found answers, then I got answers. If I don't, what do you want me to do? But yeah, like again, like I just don't understand any of these fucking reviewers. Like they saying like it's boring, it's not interesting. It plays the same thing as Skyrim. Like Skyrim had religions in that game and different beliefs, right? It wasn't super in depth, but it was there. And if you wanted to know more about it, you can read a book. You can find this. You could talk to somebody like a priest. It'll give you those information. I don't understand what's going on. So yeah, those are like my general thoughts about the Starfield and the Shattered Space. And I'm just pretty baffled by it. I'm just like, are you serious? But To each their own. If they want to play the game and they want to rush reviews out, then have at it. I'll let them be like that. Other than that, I'm enjoying the game. I'm playing it. It's really good. I'm loving the story. And I'm just taking my time playing it. I'm not rushing it to finish it. And you know what's funny about this whole entire thing, is the fact that if they gave this review this bad in terms of like all this bullshit, it's going to be even more curious of how fast that they're going to beat Stalker 2. Because that's also my next game that I want to play. And I promise you this, Stalker 2, you ain't going to beat that in like 5 hours. I promise you. Stalker 2 is even harder or even worse than Starfield. You thought Starfield was bad? Stalker 2 is even worse. But for me, that type of worse is good for me. It's a challenge. I love games that are challenging and engaging. And they may be vague on a couple of things, and that's perfectly fine, because I already know about Stalker. But if they complaining about Starfield like this, I would love to hear what they're going to say about Stalker 2. Because Stalker 2 is not going to be a cakewalk. I promise you that. It is not a cakewalk. It is not a fun game. It's not a game for everyone out there. Just like Starfield. Starfield may not be the game for you. And that's perfectly fine. If it's not for you, it ain't for you. But I guarantee you, Stalker 2 ain't going to be for you either. It's not a game for everyone. But again, at the end of the day, to each their own. And just one other thing before I wrap this up. Just want to explain this real quick. That a lot of people said, oh, Bethesda should change and do like this, and they need to be like this. No, stop making these comparisons. Bethesda needs to be Bethesda. Just like Larian Studio, the makers who did Baldur's Gate 3, they made a turn-based RPG game. Am I a turn-based RPG fan? No. But here's the deal. I don't disrespect the game because, oh, well, if the game is turn-based RPG, then this fucking game suck. Baldur's Gate 3 suck. I don't say that. I don't make videos like that. I give credit where credit is due. Baldur's Gate 3 is an excellent, RPG game. It's a turn-based game. Turn-based games for me, RPG-wise, ain't my bag. But I'm damn sure not going to discredit Baldur's Gate 3 and what they did. They made an excellent game. It's a 10 out of 10. It's definitely game of the year. I got to give credit where credit is due. But Bethesda should be what? Bethesda. Make a Bethesda game. CD Projekt Red needs to be CD Projekt Red. They need to make their own game. They're making Cyberpunk. Let Cyberpunk be Cyberpunk. Let CD Projekt Red do its thing. It's just like this. Rockstar Games is a Rockstar game. Who is competing with Rockstar Games? Nobody. Rockstar Games is just Rockstar Games. Let them make Grand Theft Auto the way they're going to make Grand Theft Auto. Just like how they make Red Dead Redemption 2. They made Red Dead Redemption 2. To each their own, that's their own studio. They play in their own strength. They don't try to be somebody that they're not. You don't see Rockstar Games try to be like CD Projekt Red. They might admire some of the things that CD Projekt Red has done or has done in Cyberpunk. That doesn't mean like, oh yeah, their next game, yeah, we're going to make a Cyberpunk game that's even better than that. No, they're just going to make the game that they're going to make, which is Grand Theft Auto. They're going to let Rockstar be Rockstar. That's what they're going to do. Is that a bad thing? No. Is Rockstar is going to use Unreal Engine 5 just like CD Projekt Red? No. That Rockstar has their own engine. Let Rockstar be Rockstar. Let CD Projekt Red be CD Projekt Red. Let them make their own fucking game. I want Bethesda to be Bethesda. Let them make their own game. They have their own unique way of making an RPG game. That's perfectly fine. They don't need to be like anybody else. I don't want them to be like anybody else. Let them be them. Just like any game, any publisher. I want Call of Duty to be Call of Duty. The Call of Duty don't need to chase after or try to be like Battlefield. And Battlefield, right, don't need to chase after Call of Duty. Let Battlefield be Battlefield. Do what you do best. When things start becoming the same, it starts to get old. It's just like this. If you see the same artist rapping the same things, this artist does it, this artist does it, this artist does it, guess what? It's going to get old real fast. And it's going to get boring. Do not do that. Let these artists and these music artists be their own thing. That's why we got Kendrick Lamar. That's why we got Eminem. That's why we got Lil Wayne. Because all of these different rappers has their own unique style of rapping and their own unique things that they do and how they approach music. Do I want a Kendrick Lamar in every rapper from here on out? No. I want rappers to be unique and different. And I want them to be them. Let them evolve in themselves. They don't need a copy like somebody else. That's all I got to say on that note. Let me know in the comment section down below if you agree with me with that or not. Other than that, so far, Starfield Shattered Space is perfectly fine. It's good. It's $30. It's more Starfield. I'm happy with it. It's unique. It's different. I'm staying on the planet, which is fine. I got no issues or problems with this. It's a simple game. It's really fun. It's interesting to learn about the lore and stuff like that. Great. But other than that, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm going to start wrapping this up. Hopefully you guys do enjoy off the top. I know there was a lot to say, but I have to get it off my chest because, man, oh man, I don't know what's going on in the gaming industry. But we're going to just keep an eye on it, see what happens. Whatever happens, happens, and we'll go from there. So, until next time, I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace, be safe, and keep on gaming. Stay gaming. Stop worrying about YouTubers, Twitter. Get the hell off of that stuff. Enjoy your life. Enjoy some games. Play it. Play the game. Don't rush the game. You're not a YouTuber. You're not a content creator. Be you. Sit back. Play the game. Turn your brain off. Relax and enjoy yourself. That's what gaming is all about. But I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.